Hey everyone, welcome back to the Business Culture. This time we are diving into a space that's close to home. Literally, we are talking about real estate with Bodha Home Infra, a brand that's quietly built a reputation for doing things the right way. Clear titles, Vastu based layout, no wow promises. Just straightforward homes in well thought out location. In this episode, we talk about what home buyers should really be looking for, how trust is earned in this business, and why the future of real estate might actually look a lot simpler than we think. If you have ever dreamt of owning a home or building something real from the ground up, this one is worth a listen. Hi Smitha,
Hi, Arvind.
thank you so much for joining the show.
My pleasure.
Tell us the story behind Bodha Home Infra. How did it all start?
Bodha Home Infra Private Limited didn't start just on its own because prior to this, we had a proprietorship firm. We ran that for almost 5 to 6 years. And then post COVID, we thought that we should have our own entity and it should be a proud entity. So that is how Bodha Homes Infra Private Limited started. And this took place in December 2021. So prior to that, we had something called as SKC Properties, where we had been doing properties in Kerala, in Atmakur, Karnool, and Hyderabad. Then, when we were doing these constructions, we always thought that we do not want partners, or we never had a funding or investor. And that is how slowly we got into these developmental properties. We started constructing, commercial properties in Kerala first. We have done two commercial properties near to Cochin Airport, International Airport. Then we started with few plotting projects in Karnool, that is in Atmakur. It's actually set up around 70 kilometers from Karnool. Then we started a villa, a gated community villa project in Karnool. This all came under SKC Properties, and that was a proprietorship firm where it was just me and my husband. Then slowly, when we thought about doing something big, then we thought we will start up with a private limited company, and we were looking for some projects in Hyderabad.
Okay.
Post COVID, this all happened post COVID. Then we established this company. We around almost 1 2 years we were looking for properties in Hyderabad, but somehow I didn't like anything, and that is how we ended up in Ooty starting a very big project. It's around like a 25 acres project, and that is the main essence of Bodha Homes, that we want to do this property in OT, and I want to expand this to 100 acres.
But why real estate sector? What inspired you to be in this infrastructure development?
See, basically, like any other person, I also come from corporate. I had a vast experience of almost 20 years before I entered, real estate. A part of it was also into real estate. I had worked with ICFA University, I had worked with Carvi, I had been in key roles. But when it comes to me, I always liked to put in my inputs into certain things. And I reached a stage where I really felt that I may not dwell into this yes sir, no sir thing. And that is how then I thought of doing something on my own. Meanwhile, when my husband started construction in 2011, okay, even at that time I was working, but then I shifted my field from corporate to real estate companies. I have worked in two companies in different roles, like business head marketing, but I somehow felt that this is not the platform, because in real estate what I found is companies are not genuine. Most of the companies are into scams, like they collect money from the public, but they hardly construct. Otherwise there's a lot of delay in delivering the project. So I thought, when I am capable of doing something, then I thought this is not the right platform for me, and then I stopped these jobs and I started doing a freelancing. And my you asked me why real estate. What I found, I entered into real estate in the year 2016-17, and at that time real estate was really doing good in Hyderabad. And what I noticed is, all real estate was filled with all real estate agents. You can find these people with white color shirt, white pant, and too much of jewelry and all other stuff. And when a person like me entered into real estate, I really noticed that there's a lot of change, because it was easy for us to close the deals, because education is the basic thing that we need to do anything. And meanwhile, even corporate entered into the real estate sector, because real estate was huge market by that time. So they needed people like us, and I somehow explored this market. I was a quick learner because I am well educated. I had been working in different various higher positions, so it was easy for me to grasp the subject, to get into good high profile clients, close the deals, and so on. I have seen lots of money in this industry. So then I thought this is the right platform for me, because in short time we can make a lot of money. But again, that did not stick on well, because as I told you, real estate is more into scams and the companies are also more into scams. So then I slowly quit and started doing freelancing, and I think I explored more of geography in Hyderabad, because I was into a freelancing thing. That's it, and that is how I made real estate as my core business.
Right, right. So after starting the Bodha Homes Infra, was there a project or a moment where you felt, yes, this is it. This is that big project that we were waiting for.
Yes, post pandemic, I mean there was a change in the way people start thinking about investments, because before pandemic it was like, if you're earning a lakh of rupees, 50 to 60,000 people used to save and 40,000 and odd they used to spend. But post pandemic it became vice versa. It started reversing back, because people stopped saving and the spending capacity started increasing, because I somehow feel that people have realized that life is too short, so they have to enjoy. And then came the concept of farmhouses and farmlands. So I explored Hyderabad in and around, like I went up to 100 kilometers distance looking for properties, exploring properties where I can come up with a farmhouse project. I never came up something good. Then there was a moment when one of my friend told me that he has got few properties in Uti, and I was going to partner with him in selling those properties. And I think the moment I landed in Uti, that was that particular moment where I felt, or you could say my inner soul or my inner voice told me that, Smitha, this is the place where you belong. This is what you were looking at, and not somewhere around Hyderabad. I still remember even the date. It was 12th April 2023. The moment I landed in that project, I could see, the clouds passing over my face, the greenery. Because when I thought about a prestigious project in Bodha Homes, I was exploring Hyderabad. I could find some greenery and I could find some place, but it was not that beautiful as Ooty. So I would mark that was the best moment of my life in my complete career, where I thought that I can explore more.
So when exploring a new place, especially in the real estate sector, which is a highly competitive market, so how easy was for you to enter?
See, coming to my thing, for me, nothing was easy. I was a tough child. I'm coming from a very conservative family where where my people used to think that the girl child is supposed to be somebody's homemaker. So from my childhood, I had faced too many tough situations. Even in my corporate jobs, also, being a woman, it is very difficult to sit in the higher positions. We have to handle many things. So similarly is what when I entered into real estate and getting into a new location. I think by the time I reached Ooty, I didn't find that toughness there, because I think I have molded every situation of mine into that easygoing thing. So I didn't find it very difficult. And I think even now I'm doing a better job at Ooty, because all the issues that we face, we are able to handle it in a better way.
Right, right. So when people talk about Ooty, the first thing is nature. It's sustenance. So how do you balance profitability with sustainability and community impact in your developments?
See, for us, profitability, yes, this particular project, I'm not more into making profits, but rather when I ended up with in Ooty project, the Hummingbirds farms and retreats, my basic thing was I wanted to retire in that place. So more than making profit, I was more keen on making a community to live for myself, on a like-minded people community. But when coming to the sustainability, definitely we are looking into energy, what do you say, sustainable energy systems, like we're using solar lights, we are into solar cameras, and we are more into farming. Okay, my basic thing is like I don't want to keep that property empty. If you're buying a property from me in Ooty, Either you construct a house, you live there, or you rent it out to me. I use it for Airbnb and run it for tourists.
Right.
Otherwise, you lease out that land to me, I do farming. Because you have to start generating some or the other income from your investment. That is how you can sustain in a place like that. Yeah. And coming to the impact or the community impact, farming is my main concept. Could be if you are ever doing another interview with me, then it would be like a modern farmer. You would not call me an entrepreneur there. You would call me a modern farmer. So the community impact, what I want to give it to my clients is you have had enough of your life in city, in the metro cities. Now come live a sustainable eco life here. And I think that is giving a lot of impact to my customers.
Okay. So what are the some kind of innovations and customer centric practice that you have introduced, and what that which has impacted your client?
I think it is like you farm your own food, you make your own food, and live in between the greens. Because when I liked that place, what impacted me was the nature. Okay, and that is what I want to give it back to my clients or my customers. So that is a basic impact. Okay, and coming to what is pulling them towards me is, because people are traveling from Hyderabad, investing in a place called Ooty, which doesn't even belong to them, not of their region, not of their state. But when it comes to our project, it is me, the trust factor. I think that is influencing my customers a lot.
Right. So then again, when you talk about the trust factor, with trust, how do you ensure, let's say, quality, compliance, and timely delivery? Because as you said, in today's world, people do, let's say, they take the payment, or then, they say, and the delivery is not on time, So, if so, in this kind of a landscape, how do you ensure this? How do you ensure this quality and timely delivery?
When it comes to Bodha Homes, the person behind this is Krishnamurty. And when it comes to quality and deliverance, I suppose that a person should be there committed. Okay, if I am in Hyderabad talking to you like this, sitting firm that I am doing a great project, then it is somebody's stress and somebody's efforts behind me. And that is my husband Krishnamurti, because he is on site 300 days out of 365 days, 300 days he is in OT, making sure that the quality, the timely deliverance is taken place. Because what happens is you give it to some kind of contractor. Okay, we don't know what is the material he uses, what is the time frame that he promises us in 1 month, but he might take 3 months. So to make sure that things are in place, we have a team put on board there. Okay, they are actually working on grounds there. Okay, we have actually shifted to the farms. We are staying in the farm and make sure that right now the road work and the fencing work is happening. And I think by this month end we are done with the developments. And coming to the timely deliverance, it was last year January that we took up this project. Okay, and from May we started registering it to our clients. Last year May I am talking about, and this May we have already delivered the project to them. Okay, already the registration is done last year itself. But what we have promised is electricity, water, and fencing, roads. All this is done, and road work that is going on now will get completed by this month end. That means before time we have delivered the project to our clients, and this is possible because we have a team posted there 300 days out of 365 days. And I'm very keen on this, because what I say, what I talk to my customers has to be delivered there. If I'm not doing this, I'm not selling my product.
Okay. What does a typical customer look for, and how do you exceed their expectation?
When a customer comes to me for an advice or a consultancy, they know me well, because first thing is my social media influence is there in the market, and people see me some or the other way and then they get to me. But when they come to me, they have a hope that they are going to receive the right advice. The main reason is I am not a channel partner for any of the projects in Hyderabad. My work ends with advices or suggestions. They come to me for suggestions, they come to me for investment options, where I give them an option. If they didn't like Hyderabad and they are approaching me for OT, then my deliverance is very clear. Because if I am selling you a property, I am taking a token amount from you, a very little amount from you. Then first the property is registered on our name, then we subdivide the property, then we sell it to the customer. That means we are legally getting the papers clear, and then we are registering it to the customer, and that is where the full payment comes in. So we are making sure that we are giving you 100% deliverance. So definitely when a customer comes to me, whatever his expectations are, I think we are overdoing it, because we are giving them a clear title property. And if they want to do it in Hyderabad with us or through Bodha Homes, then we make sure that we are giving them a resale property which is already done, which is already in the name of a seller, and then we are transferring the rights. Because what happens with the new projects is you pay the money, you do the registration, but we do not know if the other party is going to develop the property or not. So when it comes to Bodha Homes, we make sure that if a customer is buying something through us, we are giving them the finished, completed project.
So now, let's say, as a buyer, when I go into a market, the real estate market, especially in India, in Hyderabad, in Ooty, it's evolving. It's a very dynamic market. So, and the buyer's behavior, it also changes from time to time. So how does Bodha Homes adapt to these buyer changes?
Very nice, because sometimes they come with huge expectations, but anyways our OT project are meeting their expectations. But when it comes to Hyderabad, sometimes what happens is the market is not really doing good. Okay, so when they expect something and they come to us and we deliver what is not expected by them, then as you said, we find some difference in the, or difference or attitude in the buyer. But again, before buying, we already make them sign a contract which says that everything is conditional, because everything depends upon the market, and you cannot promise anybody that 20% hike will be there, 30% hike will be there. See, Hyderabad real estate is a highly volatile market. Okay, today if it is on 100 points, tomorrow it might be 80 points. So you cannot promise anybody on that. And so we are very strict about this contract, that whatever you're buying or whatever you're selling, it is as per market rate today. And we
So
are
is
not
it been
responsible.
volatile post-pandemic?
See, it's not like that. See, basically, Hyderabad has got a huge history of more than 400 years. Hyderabad has organically grown from last 400 years. But from last 10 to 15 years, not 10 to 15 years, could be last 20 years, Hyderabad real estate market has become volatile due to political imbalance. Okay, the political situations, the political parties entering into the major decisions that is happening in real estate. Because see, real estate is one such area where there is huge money, either for the government or for the common people. There is a lot of volatility in the market because there was a change in the ruling party, and at the same time the people mindset also has changed. Because earlier, if you have a flat or if you have a plot, then you would reinvest in the same procedures. But post pandemic, people started going away from city limits and started investing in big pieces of lands, that is like big projects like farmhouses, farmlands, or you they started buying in acres. Because post pandemic, people wanted to travel. Okay, and at the same time they are also predicting that these kind of pandemics can redo in future. So if in such a situation, they needed a bigger space to live in, because during the pandemic, I think most of us have suffered this, that we were locked up in the flats, not able to move out, and even to come to the balconies, people were like scared, because they were very scared that they could get infected, something is there in the air or whatever it is. So post pandemic, people mindset has changed. Instead of just investing into flats, keep on investing into flats and plots, people started investing into bigger or larger portion of lands, and that is how there's this market also started kicking back in other way, because too much of inventory towards apartments, high rise apartments, skyscrapers, wherein people wanted to look for bigger portion of lands. So this has really hit the market post pandemic.
Okay, okay. So what is your vision for Bodha Homes over next 10 years?
I may not be working for next 10 years, because all that I want to work is next 5 6 years. I want to expand our project at Ooty. Now it is a 25 acres project, but in the next coming 4 to 5 years, I want to do 100 acres of a project there. So that is my future expansion for Bodha now.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so I have few closing rapid fire questions for you. So one mistake the first time home buyers should avoid.
There's a myth which says that, if you don't own a home, you're not a man. I think you should come out of that, because a person who doesn't own a own house doesn't mean that he can't live in a rented house. You have to come out of that.
So one real estate myth you wish people would stop believing.
I would like to say that people say that if you have a own house, if you have a job, then only you will get married. That also has to come out.
Your proudest moment as a real estate entrepreneur.
The trust people lay in me, because whenever people come to me, the first statement what they tell me is, ma'am, your advices are so pure and so clear. We really trust you. I think these moments make me really proud.
If you weren't in real estate, what would you be doing?
I'm basically a HR and marketing person. I would be in some company, in some HR role. So that is where I would end up my career.
Thank you so much, Smitha, for the insights.
Thank
And
you.
it was great having you on the show.
Thank you.
So
Thank
much.
you a lot.
That's a wrap on this episode with Bodha Homes Infra. Simple, honest, and rooted in values. That's the kind of real estate story we need more of. If you found this helpful or know someone who's house hunting, send it their way. We have got more episodes coming up, more stories from people who are shaping the way we live and work. So thanks again for tuning in. See you in the next one on the business culture.